Ed Bauter and Dan Schwester here, EMS 1 News and Insider Analysis. We are from the Overrun. Today, Danny, we're going to talk about something that happened in Cleveland where the EMS union is pushing the mayor for more staff, which certainly it's only a problem that exists in Cleveland and nowhere else in the United States.
Yeah, totally unique problem. Never heard of this before.
Just the one. So again, in a story that we've heard far too often, there were positions that were cut from the budget 2 years ago, and now they're trying to add 11 positions in 2025, where, again, there was a staff number that was established 2 years ago. The town has decided that that number is sufficient, and the EMS in the town disagrees. So again, talking about budget hearings, they've been there for the past couple of weeks. They've mentioned that the budget for EMS has been reduced, but there's also vacant positions, hiring's difficult. And really where the big argument is coming from the town is Cleveland is insisting that they've been investing in the care for EMS, where they have money like ventilators, they're developing a blood transfusion program, and they also want to add more towards CPR training, first aid training, and have more community outreach. But this budget is essentially stopping them from bringing on more staff and allowing that type of expansion to continue. So, Danny, this is something that we've talked about many, many times, both here on EMS 1 and also on our own show at the Overrun, where it feels like when you try to throw money at a problem like EMS staffing, you really can't just throw money at it. It has to be kind of planned. You have to recruit people, because there's no value in having a whole bunch of the best ventilators on the planet if there's no staff to occupy them.
I mean, I suppose you could drive by the house and throw the ventilator on the front porch with the vent settings taped to an index card, but
you just laminate the card and put it on the handle.
If you don't have the people, you can't accomplish the mission. The people are what matter. The medics and the EMTs in that system are what matter. They're the ones that get the truck to the scene. They're the ones that assess and treat the patients, and they're the ones that do the transport. So you can have the coolest ventilator in the world. You can have a LifePak 75. It doesn't matter. If you're not hiring and retaining your talent for a variety of reasons, and, you know, Cleveland, a fairly big urban system, third service, a lot of good chances there for something great. But it seems like we're skimping on the one thing that truly matters. That's the clinicians that are in the trucks. And you can have the coolest truck, you can have the coolest monitor, you can have all the toys, you can have whole blood, but if you can't get somebody to give it, it's worthless.
And that's really the biggest point here, where in any operation, any business, your biggest expense is going to be your payroll. And so, you know, by nature, whenever you're looking to cut costs, that's always going to be the first place to go. And this is, again, we've talked about this previously here on EMS 1, where a lot of it is getting the buy-in of the network or the town that you're in. It seems like Cleveland is trying to grow and expand their project, right? They want to get whole blood out. They want to get all of these things done. But we already know that in the next year, we're going to see about 6% turnover of EMS staff. That's already been published. That seems to be what happens every 12 months or so. So we're looking at about 6% turnover, and you're already short-staffed. You have to start asking operational questions of, if we don't have the people, how are we going to implement these programs, right? So you went out and you had $150,000 in your capital budget, and you bought 4 of the new sexiest ventilators that you can find. If you don't have staff to train people on how to use them, and you don't have, how to bring in other people, how to work with the community, how to work with EMTs when using those ventilators, then it really doesn't matter what kind of ventilator you have. Right?
Yep.
Like you can have, if you can have the coolest ambulance in the town, and if no one's there to drive it, you just have the heaviest paperweight in the city. So it doesn't matter. So there's a lot of really good things that it looks like Cleveland is primed to do. And now it comes down to, and this is something that I've argued previously, where I tend to think that things come down to decisions, right? Where you just decide to do something to improve a system. This might come down to involving whoever the stakeholders are in Cleveland, whether that's the town or if it's the hospitals, but getting people involved and saying all of these things that we want to do, that's going to improve outcomes, it's going to improve patient care, it's supposed to put Cleveland EMS on the map, is prohibitively difficult to do if we just don't have the people out on the road to actually perform these skills. That's the biggest thing here. And we've already talked about this too, where we saw the article in Naperville where community paramedicine can save $5 million. So, how much savings can be found to improve staffing? The money has to come from somewhere.
If you scrimp on your people, you're never going to accomplish what you need. It's just not going to happen.
That's
So
exactly
we
it.
have to get out. Have to get out of this mentality and almost this kind of corporate think where employees are resources and we can cut back on resources when we need to, and then we can open it up again and they'll always be there. These people aren't always going to be there, and this is one of the things that we see all the time. It's you see a company or you see an organization that doesn't put in the effort with their people, and it's high turnover. They're always recruiting. They're offering sign-on bonuses. There's all these red flags. And here's the thing. Everybody knows these are red flags.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't commit to your people, if you're not treating them well and you're not compensating them, and that means working conditions, and that means unit hours utilized, and that means a lot of things that we don't want to talk about, nobody's going to stay for a career when you get ground into the dirt every shift. And
we've discussed this
no
before.
help.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A
starts their employees at $20 an hour, and that's what our industry is competing against. But
that is arguably higher than a New York City EMT. Just think about it.
Exactly. But let us know what all you guys think. Is anyone looking to work at Chick-fil-A in the near future? But let us know, especially if you're out in Cleveland, let us know what you guys think. overrunproductions@gmail.com. Check out all of our stuff on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And for EMS One News and Insider Analysis, Ed Bauter, Dan Schwester. We'll talk to you next time.
See you.